What an honor. The term valedictorian comes from the Latin valedicere, to bid farewell. We sincerely hope that we will not be saying farewell, goodbye to you, the members of our class of 2012. And we hope that we continue to see you at Hudson County Community College, now your alma mater. In earning your degrees, all of you have achieved something great, and some of you may have even surprised yourselves. Such was the case of your 2012 valedictorian, Rogelio Roger Sales. 2 years ago, when Roger began his studies here, he didn't think he was college material, as Dr. Bumpus has said. I can identify with that. He proved himself wrong. Born in Hoboken, Roger was raised in Union City. He wrote about his experiences growing up as a Latino who spoke little or no Spanish, and won the college's tutorial services writing contest last spring. Roger carried a 4.0 cumulative grade point average. As he pursued his associate's degree in elementary secondary education. A member of our chapter of the International Honor Society for Community Colleges, Phi Theta Kappa. He was the organization's vice president. He was also a member of Psi Beta, the National Honor Society in Psychology, and was treasurer of the Hudson County Community College Psychology Club. As a PTK member, Roger participated in many community service projects and programs, and he spent his Saturday mornings tutoring youngsters in Union City. He has hopes to teach high school English in Union City. He has also volunteered as an ambassador for the community college and has greeted and assisted new freshmen at orientations here. That being said, perhaps he will consider teaching here as well. Roger will attend New Jersey City University, where he has been offered a full scholarship. Pretty good for someone who thought he wasn't college material. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to introduce a dedicated, hardworking, and caring young man, the valedictorian of Hudson County Community College, Rogelio Roger Sales.
Good evening, class of 2012. When I first started telling friends and faculty that I was selected as valedictorian, the response was almost unanimous. What was I going to say?
He's onto it.
And at first I didn't know how to respond, mostly because I never thought much about being on this stage in front of so many people, addressing my class right before they get their diplomas. I'm just a simple boy from the Union City housing projects. After being out of school, for what seemed like forever, I was just looking for the possibilities that higher education had to offer me in what was essentially a Hail Mary play in the struggle for my own relevance. To think that I am standing here not only as the recipient of a degree, but at the top of my class is nothing short of jaw-dropping for me. Where I grew up, getting an education was very sink or swim because the school district was overwhelmed with catering to ESL students. And before 1995, there wasn't much emphasis on research for autism spectrum disorders, which led to me contributing to me falling under the radar and not being classified as having Asperger's syndrome in my childhood. By the time I had gotten to high school, I was seen as fairly articulate, but I felt that college was out of touch for someone like me because of the financial aspects. College was culturally perceived as for the wealthy, and I wasn't under the idea that it was just going to happen for me. I knew that getting into a good school with a scholarship would be a stretch, and so I sort of lost faith in the idea of me having a future in academics. And soon enough put the notion to rest until about 2 years ago, when I walked into North Hudson Center in West New York, New Jersey. The French mathematician René Descartes once said, "In order to determine whether there is anything we know with certainty, we first have to doubt everything we know." And I feel like that quote really hits home to the plight of community college students, because most of us come here thinking we had our lives figured out, and all of a sudden we don't have a plan. All we really come here knowing is that the only way to make a better future for ourselves and our families is to earn a college degree. And that transition can be especially difficult because we are essentially starting off from scratch with a blank slate and absolutely no concept as to how the system works. I just filled out my 3rd FAFSA not too long ago, and I still dread that time of the year even though I know how to do it now. But being in Hudson has so many advantages to it, because we live in an area where the minority is the majority.
Woo!
And I think this is probably the only school where no matter where you come from, we all feel each other on a human level. With the problems non-traditional students face, and I was grateful for every day I got to be a part of the magic. You could walk into the student lounge and no matter what color or faith you were, it truly didn't matter. It never did. And the school really does a good job. It does have a lot to offer in spite of a relatively slim budget. Sometimes even things big name schools don't have, even though they can afford it. Student Activities is an amazing group of people, and their emerging leadership program was probably one of the earlier catalysts for me to try and step up and do more on campus, as well as embracing my identity as a role model at the school. I also can't help but mention our National Honor Society and Phi Theta Kappa, which has so many... I got to attend so many conventions and meet a variety of people in and out of our region and really break out of my shell because of these events, including my first plane trip ever to Nashville, Tennessee to represent us at the 94th Annual Convention.
Woo!
These opportunities are normally few and far in between, and I credit Professor Lai and Dr. Khan for helping push me into the person I've become today, as well as the patience to read all of Professor Lai's emails, and for all my PCK numbers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it's also important for me to give credit to the honors program here. It's something I'm really passionate about, because academic competitiveness is my bread and butter. And there was just no comparison between being in an honors section of a class as opposed to their regular counterparts. And it's my sincere wish that this not only stays a part of the college, but grows into full degree programs one day. I want to give credit to every professor that's ever crossed paths with me, because honestly, they must have the patience of a saint to deal with someone like me. Although pretty much all of them would say it was a pleasure to have me and an honor, I do know that I tend to be rigid in my convictions. One person that comes to mind is someone who never actually was an instructor of mine, and that is Angela Pack. When a couple of education majors like myself expressed interest in attending an open house at NYU, Professor Pack gladly stepped in and chaperoned and spent an entire Saturday with us in spite of having a full-time job and 3 children of her own to deal with. I never forgot that day, and I wanted her to know that when I become a teacher myself, I hope to be half the person she is, because to me she doesn't just set the bar, she raises it with every move she makes. I know I'm supposed to impart words of wisdom or inspiration to this graduating class of 2012, but it's my honest opinion that you don't need them, because only you know what you want to do, and more importantly, you were the ones that inspired me in my 2 years at Hudson County Community College. When I was up at 3 a.m. finishing a paper and feeling lethargic, I thought about the single mother in class who was trying to set an example for her daughter. When I was cramming all week for an exam, I thought about the people who worked 40 hours a week and were still full-time students. And during the middle of semesters, when I was lost in apathy and questioning the point of all of this, I thought about the people who wish they could go back and be in our shoes. You're the ideal, the goal, what makes it all worth it in the end. But if I have to give anyone advice, I would say this. Wherever you go and whatever you do from here, do it well and make your mark. Live in the moment, knowing that it's about the journey and not the destination, because it's better to burn out than fade away. Thank you.
Emails giving instructions about PGK are limited to students. You got a mistake coming. As president, he sends me those directives all the time. And may they continue coming for a long time. To commemorate tonight, the board and I would like to give you this. It says Rogelio Salis, valedictorian, class of 2008. And now we get to the part of the